Um, Good evening and welcome to the July 22nd, 2024 meeting of the Reston Community Board of Governors. I remember the Reston Community Center Board of Governors meeting will now come to order. First order of business is approval of the agenda.
So moved. Second.
It's been moved and second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Next order of business is approval of the June 3rd board minutes.
So moved. Second.
I'm sorry, I didn't see the first.
She needs to know.
Thank you.
Bill. Okay. For the annual public hearing. It's been moved and second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Next order of business is approval of the June 3rd monthly meeting and the June 24th annual public hearing.
Board actions.
So moved. Second.
Board actions. It's been, did you get
Yes.
that? It's been moved and second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Next order of business is the chair's remarks. Yeah. My granddaughter, the youngest one before my 8-year-old, just landed this morning in Japan. She'll be gone for 4 years. And my youngest, well, my only grandson just moved to Florida. I don't know why he chose to move in the middle of the summer, but I was in Fort Lauderdale one summer for 4 years. It felt like you think we can't breathe when you walk in here. In Florida, it's like you walk out and you throw a blanket over your head. It's insane. But he decided love makes you do silly things, so he and his partner have moved to Florida, to Fort Lauderdale. I wish they had moved further north in Florida. I was looking at a thing the other day, as I want to do on, as I am wont to do on the internet, and looking at all of the cities that are losing populations for different reasons. And it's always fascinating to me how people move from city to city or state to state and don't think about the politics of what they're moving into. So I could never go to Florida. Never.
And we'll just leave that there.
And we'll leave and we'll leave that there.
So
Yes, used to be. My poem this evening. I am so warm. And this is a carryover from last month that I didn't get to do. But it's by Ed Hirsch. And I picked this because a lot of nights we were having our meetings and we're moving through quickly because there are ball games that we have to get to.
That's right.
To see, This is called Fast Break. A hook shot kisses the rim and hangs there, helplessly, but doesn't drop. And for once, our gangly starting center boxes out his man and times his jump perfectly, gathering the orange leather from the air like a cherished possession, and spinning around to throw a strike to the outlet who is already shoveling an underhand pass toward the other guard, scissoring past a flat-footed defender who looks stunned and nailed to the floor in the wrong direction, trying to catch sight of a high gliding dribble and a man letting the play develop in front of him in slow motion, almost exactly like a coach's drawing on the blackboard. Both forwards racing down the court, the way that forwards should, fanning out and filling the lanes in tandem, moving together as brothers, passing the ball between them without a dribble, without a single bounce hitting the hardwood, until the guard finally lunges out and commits to the wrong man. while the power forward explodes past them in a fury, taking the ball into the air by himself now and laying it gently against the glass for a layup, but losing his balance in the process, inexplicably falling, hitting the floor with a wild headlong motion for the game he loved like a country, and swerving back to see an orange blur floating perfectly through the net.
Swish.
In honor of you, Beverly. In honor of you.
In honor of me.
I love it. It was the orchestra.
Are you an art director?
Actually, we put on the electronic rights to super fast, that's fine. Good.
Yeah, keep it under the limit.
Yes.
Fair use.
So that would be good. You might have to trim some of that off his thing. Okay, the next order of business is the introduction of visitors. None.
They're out there playing instruments.
And there's no citizen input, so we move quickly on to our committee reports. The first one is Lisa C. Krasser-Hart, the June 3rd Long Range Planning Committee meeting.
Okay, I'm not gonna read the whole,
Thank
These
you.
are just written
no,
notes.
I know, but I would say the written, but there were a few things, because it was new to me, the updating of the Freedom Act, there were a couple of questions that each of us in the room asked a lot of, because we were not as, what was happening. The key things, the three things were that there's gonna be an increase in the number of allowable virtual meetings, not to affect this or not, more flexible reasons as to why meetings will be joined remotely, and how frequently they may do so, and then, the definition of public meeting. And what was important, my first question was like, wait, why are we even doing this? Why are we considering it? And well, I will explain that. It's important to keep these procedures because you don't know what happens in the future, and you need to make sure there's a possibility that that option is there, and we need to vote on what's gonna happen, so it's just still there. But it was new to me, and I just asked that question, there's some other ones that you think asked too, so we made a decision, it was important to adopt this and move forward accordingly. So, about hiding, I think a lot of us came to the play during COVID. So, I think that's mostly it. But toward on this, we have the community survey that came in. Sorry, went too far.
So you have to speak up, you're competing with that orchestra. Okay, next order of business is the June 13th. I love that there's a mistake there on the date. Mistake was
No, it was June 13th, 20th, and 24th.
There's three of them.
There's three
There
of
were
them.
three of
There's
them.
three of them.
So there's a mistake. Where did the and first stand? Okay, and that is Mr. Bowie.
So the Personnel Committee met on June 13th, 20th, and 24th. We went into closed session, we discussed our business, and we ended our closed session, and that's our report.
Next is the,
Legal disclaimer.
Read the legal disclaimer
Okay.
to put us in and out of closed session.
okay, the next is January 24th annual, the June 24th annual public hearing, the Long Range Planning Committee. Mr. Bowie.
So we had the Long Range Planning Committee, the annual report on June 24th. We started our meeting, Beverly welcomed everyone at 6:36 p.m. that evening. And it was our chance to share our annual report, the budget results of the year, and Paul Thomas took us through that whole budget exercise and did a remarkable job on that. We went over the highlights of what the center did during 2023. We talked about our strategic planning in a number of different areas, including facilities, equity, program services, RCC on wheels, and talked a little bit about our survey that is currently taking place. Paul went over the capital planning and budget process, and also the planning calendar input. And we had two motions that we had to adopt to send forward. One relating to the FY '26 budget submission, and the second one was updating the operating guidance memoranda on strategic planning and capital project planning, and adopt the guidance memoranda on virtual meetings and remote participation, which was changed as a result of legislation enacted by the Virginia House of Delegates, signed by the governor. And with that, we adjourned at 7:07.
We did get a lovely compliment from the corral on the
Yes.
purchase of
Yeah.
their
Risers,
corral.
yes, it was like that.
That was very nice.
Thank you, Mr. Dooley. Next, the July 22nd Finance Committee. Mr. Thomas.
So we just had our fiscal year '24 year-end fiscal committee meeting. Two agenda items, one the year-end report, and second the carryover, just sort of notes on carryover. Year-end report, revenues, nothing too remarkable. Things are doing, did well, taxes above as what was expected. Interests approximately 2,000% higher than expected, which was somewhat remarkable, I suppose. A few of the things were perhaps a little bit lower on the revenue side than expected, but if you add in the fee waivers, they all pretty much all ended up above what we expected. Fee waivers ended up to about $197,000 total across all the different areas. Big ones in aquatics and in camps. Aquatics passes and camps were the biggies then. Personnel expenses generally in line. We tend to always end up sort of slightly under on personnel expenses, just because we can't always hire everybody that we need exactly what we need. So there you go. Operating expenses, we got a bunch of carryovers from operating, which I'll discuss briefly. We'll get to operating, to the carryover stuff. On the capital expenses, RCC on wheels is coming in substantially less than we thought it would. We budgeted about over $700,000. It's coming in under $300,000.
Oh, wow.
So it will give us substantial flexibility for achieving other capital projects as needed in the coming year. And then carryover, approximately $340,000 in deferred revenue for things that really kind of, that we're not really going to actualize until the following fiscal year. So a lot of the carryovers and that sort of stuff. And the other piece are on POs that just haven't been, our essentially accounts receivable have not been as well staffed as they needed to in order to be as aggressive as they needed to pull revenue that was due to us from people who owe us money. So some of that is, but most of that is due to staffing either being low on staffing or having brand new staff late in the fiscal year. And so that's the stuff that was in carryover. Any questions on the finance committee meeting? Anything of substance I missed?
So fee waiver, you said, was more than expected?
No, wasn't more than expected, but just like, so, for instance, on the passes, we underperformed what we expected on revenue for passes, pool passes by about $45,000,
Yeah.
right? About $45,000, but the fee waivers were more like $60,000, right? And so so they sort of, but we always expect fee waivers.
I know,
And so
they're
what
a
we don't,
good thing, I was just,
the data we don't have is sort of like what were we expecting,
okay.
and so we haven't seen that longitudinal look at what fee waivers do. The overall thing for the fee waivers is honestly the way the budgets are built are based on everyone paying the standard Reston rate, the tax district 5 rate, and so but that doesn't end up happening, right? That's not all that happens. Some people pay extra because they're outside the tax restriction, and some people pay less because of fee waiver. And the overall approach to budgeting has been, those things are generally going to approximately be a wash. That we're gonna overperform on the people from outside rents and underperform on fee waivers. So we don't have a line item for that, we don't really track that in the budget, but we do have the data. The data we have for it is tracked on a calendar year because it's in the annual report. And so we can look at that on the calendar year, but not on a fiscal year basis.
Well,
as far as that.
and it is tracked on a fiscal year basis in terms of the accounting end of it.
Yes.
In the monthly reports,
Yes.
where you'll see an annual calendar is used in the annual report pages. But the way it's tracked is that when a person gets the fee waiver, they get a certain amount of money that can be spent, and that money is moved from their account into the roster for the class or the program or whatever. So it records as revenue, but it's in a different
That's okay.
color.
I was just, all I wanted to say was, if we got did more fee waivers than expected, that would be a good thing.
It is-
Because
It is a good
we're
thing.
drawing in people who
It
couldn't
is a good
otherwise use it, so
It is good.
the more the merrier.
Exactly. Other questions, Robert?
We weren't laughing, the music sounded like Jaws.
We're talking about
How much money was it
aquatics.
cost?
Exactly.
You couldn't plan that.
I timed it well.
Oh, you did, there you go, so I take it back.
It's
You
good
did
to have
quite
a
well.
soundtrack.
Exactly.
Okay, now the preference poll committee meeting.
So the preference poll committee met this evening and reviewed the handbook for candidates and including all the dates and approved it. But let me just give the dates for all of you who are watching. If you want to participate as a candidate, filing for candidacy begins August 1 and closes August 15 at 5 p.m. And there will be a candidate orientation on the 15th. The candidate forum will be September 3rd at 6:30. Online mail-in balloting will begin on September 6th. Mail-in ballots must be received by 5 p.m. on the 26th, and walk-in and online balloting will close at 5 p.m. on the 27th. So between August 1 and September 27, everything that will go into and come out of the preference poll process will be accomplished. That's it.
Next order of business is to approve these committee reports.
So moved.
Second. Then moved in second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Next order of business is the board member input on activities attended since last we met. Since we met every day in June, I don't know, you can count on that.
I took a lot of meetings in June.
Well, I went to some of them, not all of them, not the personnel committee. But certainly the long range planning committee, the finance committee, and board meeting. And since we are moving, that took most of our time. Us 81-year-olds sometimes have to decide when it's time to go.
Have you decided yet?
And we decided.
A tactical retreat, tactical relocation.
Yes.
Oh, I think you're gonna go take over Tyson's.
There you go.
Well, there's an idea.
Yeah.
Let's see. So I attended the South Lakes Homelight Grad Party. Because so I had signed up to volunteer for a couple hours because I've done security there for 12 years. And I was chair for a little while. And the party was on a Friday. The Thursday a week before that, so 8 days before that, I get an email from the chair of the all-night grad party. The safety and security chair broke her hip and dislocated her femur,
Oh,
stepping off a curb at the school. Anyway, and so could I step in and be the safety and security chair? And so I was the safety and security chair for the all-night grad party, so that was a fun night. And made it official, I am too old for this.
Even
So
though you're not 81 years old.
So I am, really, the difference is not that much anymore. Let's see, I also attended Garden and Friends, a couple of those at Weston Town Center at the Town Square Park, which was very good. Personnel committee meetings, of course, the annual public hearing, as Phil mentioned. I also attended the Human Services Council and the rep to that for Walter. And I also met Carlos Seward, who is the South Lakes High School's new principal. And so this is, it was great to get a chance to meet him. And I offered to him that as soon as he has an opportunity, though he's been busy getting, sort of his feet under him, that I'll take him on a little tour of Reston and specifically the RCC facilities. And so I introduced myself as the liaison from RCC to him, sort of board liaison, and look forward to engaging with them and helping them understand how we engage with the pyramid. He was most recently at Rappahannock County High School, which is a grade 8 through 12 high school, and has a total, keep in mind, Salt Lakes High School has an enrollment of about 2,600 students. Rappahannock County High School, total enrollment, grade 8 through 12, of approximately 308 students. So this is going to be a different scale for him. So so his name is Carlos. His brother Carl is the head of math curriculum for Arlington County. And anyway, so he's a very interesting man. A black man who wears bow ties. Good time. So I will let you know when I get a chance to actually sort of walk around and his
Kim also touched base with him, Kim Retzer, and told him to be sure to connect to RCC, so.
Yeah, and my wife is in the office next to his, and so it's come up a couple times. He said, "Oh yeah, I got to reach out to your husband." And so we'll see when he actually gets his head above water enough to reach out. Yeah.
Most importantly, what are his plans to maintain our reigning championship status?
Yeah. So given that he's about 5'5", I'm guessing that his experience with basketball is been over.
He's a guard, he's a guard.
Maybe he was a guard, though. Might be a little too bookish to be a guard, but I don't know. I'll ask her.
Report back.
And that's it. Did you go to any meetings?
Lots of meetings. Lots of meetings.
I tried to break these down, so we're going from June all the way until now, right? So I wasn't sure. Well, first, I attended a couple of Juneteenth celebrations, but there was one at St. John Newman's Church. They have a racial equity committee, so they were trying to reach out. It was pretty nice that they were paying attention to the issue I have in my church, saying there's no structural racism in the country. So it was interesting to go and see a church really trying to reach out to the community and do a lot of diversity honesty. I participated in the Reston Sprint Triathlon 3 weeks before I decided I'm going to do it. I haven't done it in many years, so note to self, you're no longer in your 40s. You need more than 3 weeks. I finished it. I was happy. The goal was to finish. I'll be happy, so I finished it. It's a good, nice race. So I will prep next year. We see if we still do it, and then we'll see what happens. I did the RCC interviewing. Also participated in meetings here. Some of the farewells for Lila, your award. That was quite nice. I know you get a lot of things. Fairfax County was nice to be there and see what's happening. I also attended the annual public meeting, and also I'm a representative for the going to say this wrong, the Kathy Hudgens Center at Southgate Community Center. And that is, they have a very active board, switching to a very active board, but really trying to get a lot of involvement in the community. They do quite a bit there. One of the big things they have is every second Saturday, there's a food bank. If we saw how many people come there to get food, they've done this for a long, long time, but they work on that. They also have a very good community relationships with the police department. So there's a lot of going back and forth. They're trying to get a makers center set up inside there to be open for people. A lot of the fields are open right and left for people to be involved. It's a nice community where kids don't have to run and go different places. They have camp, which fill up all the time. The basketball team that they have won the award, so they have a dinner for them. It's kind of nice to see some things they're doing. They gave up 2 scholarships for 2 of the students that are South Lakes High School graduates that are going off to college. So I think they're 2 $500 scholarships. They're trying to earn more. And what else can I say that's kind of neat about it? It's just it's neat to see that grow. I remember when it was a vision of Kathy's many years ago, but to see it being active. They have yoga. They have any class you want to take. They kind of have. They're still coming here, but it's nice to see that they're very active members here. And one thing that was interesting is something I think I would say this was important. Someone reported about people hanging out on the courts and stuff at night. Now they're lit up and it's a community. And so someone says, "Is this anything we really have to pay attention to?" The board said, "Absolutely not." But it was interesting that someone had sent a report that people who lived there were hanging out in their neighborhood. It was like, so, and you know, it's lit for a reason. The community center stays open relatively late, but it was not interesting to me. It's very sad that some thought they should report why there's people hanging out. And there was no, just, it was very, some people were playing basketball, some people just visiting with their fellow neighbors, and so it's sad. So I made that report. And that's mostly it.
Hey, so what was the name of the race? Reston?
Oh,
Reston Sprint Trust.
Sprint, that's what I thought.
It's their 18th annual Reston Sprint Track.
Sprint
And all
Sprint
went
Track.
3 of them.
Thank you.
So this year, no podium this year, but next year, I just quit competing, but I was ticked that, you know, it was just so hard. I like the race. No, I can't quit. People expect me to be like, oh man, we do all this. No, it's fun. It's short. That's the key.
Well, as an 82-year-old, I just accomplished a move
Oh, that's right.
and getting used to condo living for the first time and the importance of where the trash goes.
Don't put
Very
it the wrong
big
place.
issue, very big issue. Anyway, and then I've been mostly busy as the Uber driver for my granddaughter and for many social occasions. And also I have assisted with the basketball team teaching 11 and 12-year-olds defense, zone defense, for example, instead of clawing at each other. And
It's not only not only
Person to person
Right, right.
defense.
And I'm still here, so.
There you go. It's a good thing. It's a good thing.
That's probably why.
That's my activities.
So that P and Z committee meeting, I've been to Town Center Square for the conservatory concert a couple times, and I did some crowd.
Let's see, busy. I wasn't at the online grad party, but I did help make the boat.
There you go.
I was on
Nice.
boat construction duty. We had a new boat this year. It's the it's like the SSC Hawk, the third, because there's the third one. So that was exciting. Let's see, tons of music. Went to the first Haley Rise concert, and I've been trying to think about. It's very hot. There's not really anywhere to sit. I know it's like a first year, but I've been kind of brainstorming like what.
Where do they have, where that grass field is?
Grass.
Oh, okay.
There's a little bit of
A turf, right, I thought the turf, that's what I'm.
Yeah, and I know it's gonna, it's
It'll be built.
is this something we wanna continue doing? I think that there's yes, there's a yes, but it's very hot, there's no shade. So I've been trying to brainstorm a little bit because I brought my little guy out there and we wanted to stay, but couldn't really do that. So we have definitely been enjoying the Fat Fridays. Accidentally went to the Taylor Swift one.
ever gonna do that, right?
My wife, I think she was like just having cocktails with her friends. Yeah, she wasn't gone overnight. So it's like, okay, let's go to the music. We always get French fries at the Big Buns. Sit there. We used to live in the Boulevard building, so we know the folks down there. I knew there was music, but I had to walk the check and just show up, and then it's just like an ocean of Swifties.
It's an ocean with
Oh, it's a
waves.
Taylor Swift one again this year. So had a ton of fun. He loved it. And then we go to other ones, and then the Saturday mornings have just been awesome. It's just been so much fun. Go to the town center. And Rock and the Swords was this on Saturday. This was their 8th year. I think they said their 7th or 8th year. So a lot of fun. And then I swear there was one other one where they had like tons of bubbles, like all these bubble artists.
Yeah.
I can't remember which one that was, but we went to that, and that was he of course loved that. I think those were all the activities. Since we're talking about L5, I'm going to be in the class of 2025.
Oh,
Wow, congratulations.
that's great.
Inspired to apply the breakfast. I ended up talking to Karen afterwards. Really nice.
Terrific. You'll love it.
Okay, I went to all the meetings you guys went to.
And then some.
Yeah. And the RCC bowling team still exists, so we have a lot of fun. Next order of business is the executive director.
So you all have a copy in the back of your notebooks. We've mentioned a couple times tonight our capital project work with the elevator replacement and the energy utilization improvement project. It's going to make for some strange energy experiences over the next few weeks as this all will affect the HVAC deliveries. So it's going to be a little funky, but you have to live through the pain to get to the pleasure of a brand new system. We're going to bump the replacement of office furnishings from this summer to either winter or next August, because it turns out that furniture doesn't deliver like that. Not for all our offices. So. There have been a bunch of fun programs for the Reston Opportunity Neighborhood relationship that we have. We participated, LaTanja Snelling, who's our Equity Partnerships Director, spearheaded our participation in this Play All Day VA, Virginia VA. It was a Virginia Recreation and Park Society statewide program to encourage people to play and recreate on the summer solstice, which is the longest day of the year, so that was a fun thing. We're working on a Reston Opportunity Neighborhood membership card for clients to use, so that simple thing can be their income verification documentation. And there is a sizable number of people in Reston that I'm sure all of you are aware of who are unhoused, who are camping across from the North County Government Center. And there have been coordinated county efforts to try to dismantle that encampment and give a more focused services array to the folks who are there, and also provide for an overnight setting in that what's typically the hypothermia overflow at Cameron Glen will be an ongoing overnight stay for the folks there. And Phoebe and I will be going over there's a Cornerstones Partners meeting next Wednesday to discuss further developing services for folks who need support. And of course, we did do outreach to the folks in our neighborhood here about our pool closing a bit longer this summer than usual, so they would not be surprised by that. Programs and services, of course, this is camp season, and we are full and rocking and rolling with lots of kids. The YAT program is coming close to their show dates pretty soon in this facility, and we have the Lake Ann Art Rave for Kids at the Lake Ann facility, and Camp Good Times and Road Rules, and then there are a whole bunch of specialty camps that go on all day, every day, so it's loud here. It's very loud. We joined Fairfax County Park Authority and Neighborhood and Community Services and our colleagues at McLean Community Center in celebrating National Parks and Recreation Month with the Board of Supervisors. The Park Authority really spearheaded this, and they had, I think, about 100 employees and volunteers who showed up with branded T-shirts for the event. It was very impressive, so that was very cool. Acknowledgement of how important recreation is in the lives of families across the county. We said goodbye to our youth and teen director, Debbie Herron, on July 10th. Bev was there with me to thank her. There was a very lovely event for her. Our new box office manager, Caitlin Jones, started work today and is excited to be here. And the off-site events coordinator, Kit LaCroix, will be starting on Saturday, the 27th. And that will be she will take some of the logistics and event management role that currently our community events director and Laura in our production office in the performing arts department have been spearheading, and we have other recruitments in progress. The chief executive assistant position is currently being advertised, and I'm hopeful that by your September meeting we'll have a new board staff support person in place, and support person for the ED office and the deputy director office, and our accreditation efforts, which are really going to get cranked up now. The submission documentation has to all be ready by December and gets uploaded in January, and the visit will be next year. So that 5 years went real fast. Real fast.
You're on so many boards. Is your membership on any of those boards ex officio?
Public Art Reston is an ex officio membership, and the way that the Public Art Reston board is comprised, there's a voting member from RCC. Our voting member is Bill Bowie, and then the ex officio member is the executive director from the partner organization. So I think Jalal is RA's voting member, and Mac is their ex officio member.
But ex officio doesn't mean you're not voting, but yes.
Yeah, you don't vote. In the Public Art Reston board infrastructure, you don't have a vote.
You don't have a vote, okay. But I'm just saying that ex officio simply means you're on there because of your position.
Right, because of the position.
By definition.
The Leadership Fairfax board position is not it's not based on the executive director role. It's a personal board membership. I don't know how to characterize it. And the Arts Fairfax board membership is that my advice to those organizations will be that they give long thought to continuing an institutional kind of spot for the RCC.
Right. So having that be ex officio essentially, or at least one spot reserved for RCC, would be.
Yeah, BB right now, I was on the Greater Reston Chamber of Commerce board, but BB is on that board now. And I think their intent is to always have a link to RCC. Yeah.
Okay, I was curious about that.
Yeah.
Thank you, Lila. Next order of business, is there any continuing business? Any new business? Then we will call this meeting of the Reston Community Center Board of Governors make sure you check the events at the bottom.
Art of Friends is not this summer, I don't think I'll be getting anything in
Well-
September.
They're in all the way to the end of June, and then they start again in September.
Right, so again, September.
Okay. Okay, so there's no continuing business, no new business. You are all now free to go mind your own business until we meet again in September.
Amen.
Amen.